We have one of my favorite video game creators slash directors of all time, Hideo Kojima. Now, Hideo Kojima has had his hands in iconic top tier, GOAT tier games. He was the creator of Metal Gear Solid, or the Metal Gear creator. And let me actually look up Hideo Kojima. All right, let me just look at his. Whole entire thing. So Metal Gear, we all know it. PT, one of the greatest what ifs in gaming history. And now, since he's left Konami, he is working on his own game, Death Stranding. So Death Stranding 1 came out. We know Hideo for weird, wacky storylines, but it just works. We don't know how he does it. It's his genius and mastermind. It just works. And he's getting top tier actors for these games, by the way. And now he's supposed to be coming out with Death Stranding 2, which is supposed to be coming out very, very, very soon. So shout out to him. That's the GOAT. So he brought up a couple days ago that he has a USB flash drive of ideas of future projects after he dies, kind of like a will, but like a tech will, if you will. So we don't know what's on this flash drive. We don't know what he has stored. We don't know his plans. He did talk about it a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him as far as like health wise. I hope he's okay. I do not want anything bad to happen to this man. I need him to live a long, healthy life, and I want him to keep living his dream and just making himself happy on making these beautiful, amazing games that have held us over ever since childhood up until now. So I'm going to transition to my PC stream. So, as reported by VGC, Kojima issued the morbid revelation to Edge magazine and discussed his change of thinking that occurred during the pandemic. Turning 60 was less of a turning point in my life than my experiences during the pandemic. I fell seriously ill at that time and also had an eye operation. Until then, I didn't think I was old, I just didn't feel my age, and I assumed I would be able to create for as long as I live. But then I became sick and I couldn't create anything, and I saw lots of people around me passing away at that time. I was confronted with death. Of course, I recovered, but now I was thinking, wait, how many years do I have left to make a game or a film? Perhaps I have like 10 years. So, this is actually really smart. This is actually really smart. With everything, with the pandemic, with him getting sick, with people around his age dying, he thought of a way for his future projects to live on. So he's thinking way ahead of the game, which is genius. So in his head, in his mind, he's thinking, all right, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. But within those 10 years, I'm going to think of as many ideas and as many projects as I can to have my creations live on, even when I'm gone. So I love that. That's great. So he says this reevaluation not only caused Kojima to take on a number of new projects, but to create the USB stick kind of like a will. I gave a USB stick with all my ideas on it to my personal assistant, kind of like a will. Perhaps they could continue to make things after I'm gone at Kojima Productions. This is a fear for me. What happens to Kojima Productions after I'm gone? And that's another thing. Like, if he, God forbid, if something happens to him, what happens to the production company? Will it shut down? Because the main guy isn't there anymore. So what's it gonna turn? Is it gonna be left over? Is it gonna be turned over to other people? We don't know. So to have this existing Kojima production company live on, he has this USB drive with a whole bunch of new projects and ideas that can live on. So however long he lives, if something were to happen, that USB drive is going to live on. And that those ideas and those projects are going to branch out in however many years. So that is very smart thinking. And I love it. I love it. So let me transfer back. So Kojima also revealed 3 game concepts that have the passing of time in real life as a major mechanic. The first is a kind of game of life. It starts out with the player being born, you're a child, and then gradually over time you become an adult. In the game, you fight various enemies, like with the previous example, MGS3, the end. If you keep playing the game, you'll become a 70 or 80-year-old man. However, at this age, you'll be weaker, your eyesight will worsen. When you are a teenager, you'll be able to run faster, but by the time you reach 60, you'll slow down a bit. Revealing that although your character will be in better physical condition when they are younger, they will have more knowledge and experience when they are older. This aging would affect your strategy as to how you deal with enemies, but no one would buy it. However, the other people on the podcast expressed enthusiasm about playing such a Kojima-like game. That's interesting. It can be done. Now, he kind of just threw that idea out there, but if it's formatted right, if the foundation is there, if it's structured well, if it has a good story, good characters in it, you can make it work. So another idea is, he mentioned, is a game when you're creating something that takes time to mature, such as wine or cheese. This will require the player to continue gradually playing over a long period of time, and sounds like it will work as a background / idle game. Okay, that's interesting. So these projects, I'm starting to see a pattern. Time, maturity. Over time, you start to have something, and you still have to play that game for a long period of time. So these games aren't like little short games. These are like well thought out, planned. You will be playing these games for a while. So, and finally, he proposed a forgetting game, a game that the player would have to play through quickly. In this concept, the main character gradually forgets important information and abilities if you take too long a break from the game. Wow, okay. For example, if you don't play every day, the main character will gradually forget things such as how to fire their gun or what their job is. This forgetfulness builds up until finally the player is unable to move. Players will have to take a week off work or school to play it. That's crazy. Oh man, okay, so that's wild. But now I'm not mad at that. Keep throwing out ideas, keep throwing out suggestions, and just keep it on that flash drive, and whatever happens 10, 15, 20 years down the line, if something, like I said, we don't want this to happen. We want him to live as long as possible, because the work this man has done for us, it will live on forever. He's already stapled in as the GOAT. So if this flash drive can live on after, this will branch off new ideas and make other new games. That's still a piece of him living on, just like music. Music will never go away. So that is very smart. Kudos to him. And yeah, prayers up. We don't want anything to happen to this man. But realistically, if something were to happen, that flash drive will be his piece to live on forever. But yeah, no, let me know in the comments what are y'all's favorite Hideo Kojima game is, or pretty much Metal Gear Solid game, or Metal Gear, or Death Stranding. He had his hands in other games, but those were like his babies. And let me know if y'all are actually getting Death Stranding too. Now, I said this on the last stream, I have not played Death Stranding, so I really can't give off my opinion on what that game is or how I feel about it, but I am going to play that game because Death Stranding 2 is coming out soon. I saw the trailer for that. It looks crazy, it looks weird, it looks wacky, but it just works. So I am very interested in how that is going to look and how that is going to play.